So, hello YouTube, it's CalFX and I'm back again with another weekly outlook series, and I hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. So I just really hope you guys are having a good month of November. As we can see, the year is just ending. We're just 1 month away from 2015. I mean, let me say 2025, right? So I really hope you guys had an incredible year. And for a lot of you guys, if this year wasn't that good, we still have another year. So we still have a lot of learning, to do, a lot of improvements to do. Each year, is an opportunity to improve and to become a good trader, right? So I'm not going to take much time. I just want to quickly break down some of the moves that I'm anticipating for the next weeks. I actually brought some different pairs this time because I feel like the other pairs are not really clear. For example, when it comes to gold, the price action is not really clear. I see gold actually pushing up, but it's not very clear when it comes to the structure and the whole outlook. So let's start from Euro USD as we always do, and we're going to look at it from the weekly time frame. Basically, this is an outlook post election in the United States, so we can see definitely the USD strength right here just push it up. I think we're actually coming close to that time when I think it was in 2022 when euro and dollar they were like one 1-to-1, right? Which means that $1 was like one euro. It's the same thing. I think it was around this time right here, September 2022, when we reached that point. So I think we're just coming down all the way to that previous low right here. So looking at the weekly time frame, we can clearly see we had a mitigation at the monthly supply zone, weekly change of character, mitigation, second break of structure. So basically we're seeing that bearish order flow kicking in on the weekly time frame. Now this is on the weekly, so we can see that weekly is the structure is bearish, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drop down to the hourly time frame because I know that the weekly is bearish, so most likely we're gonna continue to be bearish on the other time frames. So I'll drop down, for example, to 4-hour time frame, and I actually marked up some zones that I'm really looking at. For example, this one right here, we have we had a break of structure, mitigation, then a second break of structure. Now the zone that I'm looking at for the next week actually is this point of interest. This actually was the decision of push up for the down move that took out this previous low. So I'm waiting for price to retrace back into this zone, and then we're gonna wait for selling opportunities on the lower time frame. Even if I get an M15 change of character, you can still take the trade. That's absolutely valid. Now another zone that we can consider is this one right here that has some sort of imbalances above. So this is another valid zone of reaction. There may be a possibility that price can come all the way into this one and then continue to the downside. So what I'm gonna be waiting for on Euro USD for the next week is a retrace back into these zones. Once price comes, this is a 4-hour, guys. So once price comes to these supply zones, I'm gonna drop to medium time frame such as M15, wait for a change of character, and then we can drop down to lower time frames. So it's just simple like that on Euro USD. Weekly is bearish, 4-hour is bearish. We want to make sure we bearish on the medium time frame as well as the lower time frame. Okay, so that's it for Euro USD. The next pair. So our next pair is going to be the infamous Aussie dollar. We're gonna quickly look at it from the weekly time frame. It's absolutely bearish, just like Euro USD. We can see just this beautiful bearish order flow right here, and the outlook basically is to see price continue to push all the way down, taking out these lows, and then this major weekly previous low as well. So that's just simple outlook that we can look just by looking at the weekly. We can clearly just understand the overall directional bias, which is bearish. So we can drop down, for example, to 4-hour time frame, and we can see we had this nice order flow right here on the 4-hour. Also, everything is absolutely bearish right here. Price just been pushing all the way down, right? So we had this push, price just came to this decisional supply zone, it's having some reaction in here. So this is a 4-hour supply zone. We can drop down to medium time frame now. So on the medium time frame, what I looked at was we had this nice structure, bearish structure that formed right here. We had this small change of character, then mitigation, second break of structure, and price is reacting at this zone right here. So I'm going to be looking at this zone. I want to see on the lower time frame some selling opportunities, as well as this area right here above. Price can be using these highs right here as inducement to come into this extreme, and then we have continuation to the downside. But if I see a selling opportunity at this point of interest, I'm still going to look for sales on the lower time frame, and as well as this one if price decides to come up into this area right here, right? So it's just very, very simple like that, guys. Keep the outlook very simple. Weekly is bearish, 4 hours is bearish, medium time frame M30 is bearish, lower time frame we must be bearish. It's simple as that, okay? So next pair. So our next pair is going to be the GU. GU, quickly, I just want to bring you guys to, I should say weekly or the monthly. I think the monthly time frame is the best way to start. If we look at the monthly, I think we can clearly see that the overall directional bias is bearish. We had a break, mitigation, we had a second break of structure, and then a mitigation in this supply zone. Now we drop down to the weekly time frame. What we can see is, price is just pushing all the way down, right? So far, looking at this structure, we had this break, mitigation in this demand zone, and then this major break of structure. We had a lot of lows. I can say this was like internal lows before price finally took out the previous high. So price is just knocking all these lows right here, this one. Now, what I'm looking at is this zone right here, right? So this is basically the extreme demand zone that I'm looking at from the weekly time frame. And what I'm expecting is since price has tapped this weekly demand zone, I'm expecting to see some pullbacks on GU. So that's what I'm expecting for the next week, is pullbacks towards these supply zones above. So let me drop down, for example, to daily time frame. From the daily, I have this supply zone right here at the extreme. So I'm also expecting to see price coming into that high. But if I go down to the 4-hour time frame, I can see that we have a zone right here, because the 4-hour is still bearish up to this point. So although I'm waiting for a pullback on GU, as of now I'm actually waiting for a pullback towards this supply zone. So once it comes here, I'm going to be looking to see if there is something on M15 so we can sell and maybe ride the continuation to the downside. But for me, the confirmation of a pullback will be once price takes out this 4-hour previous high right here. So if price ends up coming all the way up and creating the change of character, that's when I have the confirmation that we have in that pullback of the weekly and daily time frame. Okay, so it's very, very simple like that, guys. 4-hour is still bearish, so let's keep the bias as bearish. And once price comes to these supply zones, we're going to be looking on the medium time frame such as M15, M30 for confirmation. Okay, so that's it for this pair. Let's go to the next one. So our next pair is New Zealand dollar. New Zealand dollar has been doing very, very good. I actually caught a very good trade. If you guys saw on my free Telegram group, I actually did a small, I actually documented some of a trade that I caught and I sent beforehand on the mentorship. So it was a beautiful, beautiful sell. I'll actually do a breakdown of this trade. I'll do a trade recap right here on YouTube for you guys in this week. So just looking from the weekly time frame, anyone can see New Zealand dollar is bearish, right? We had the break, mitigation, second break of structure, mitigation, and we're seeing that push all the way into this previous low. So even if you look back at the previous outlooks, we've been looking at this exact situation right here. We were just basically predicting that this was going to happen, right? So what I'm expecting to see eventually in the weeks ahead is price to take out this weekly previous low. That's the major low that I'm waiting to see price coming to. And I can drop down, for example, to 4-hour time frame, and we can see that on the 4-hour the structure is absolutely bearish. There is just no discussion in there. We can see this bearish order flow, this nice bearish chain all the way into this zone right here. We have a break of structure. We had a break of structure, mitigation of this order block, we have a second break of structure, and we have another block at the top, right? So what I'm looking for is price to pull back towards these zones into this 4-hour supply zone, and once price comes here, since this is a 4-hour, I'm gonna be waiting for medium time frames such as M15, M30, change of character, and sell all the way down. That's the idea, is just to sell, to ride that bearish continuation towards the violation of the weekly previous low. So we can see the connection between the weekly and the 4-hour, right? The weekly is bearish, 4-hour is bearish. So on the medium time frame such as M15, M30, we want to be bearish as well. So I'm gonna be looking at this zone right here. Another zone, we can say this one right here. I'll be monitoring a reaction here. So once price comes here, I'll drop down to lower time frames and look for the change of character, mitigation play, and then try to sell all the way down just to ride this bearish continuation towards the weekly previous low. Okay, so simple like that, guys. So let's move to the next pair. So the next pair that I'm gonna do a breakdown on is GJ. So I haven't broken down this pair for a while. I think it's been a year. The last time I did a breakdown on this one, but we're just gonna look at the daily on GJ. So what happened is that on GJ, price had tapped a monthly supply zone. This is like a monthly supply zone, and it created this major weekly / daily change of character. And then price came around 50%. I think if we use the fib from this high all the way to this low, we can see that price is around 71.8, which is the golden zone, and it coincides with this point of interest right here. So once price came into this daily supply zone, that's when I drop down to hourly time frame. So we can drop down, for example, to 2 hours time frame, and we can see the bearish order flow that is forming right here. Just a beautiful price action that is going on right here on GJ. We had a nice change of character and mitigation, second break of structure, mitigation, third break of structure. So the expectation is to see price continue to push up into these zones right here, and then we have the continuation to the downside. So since this is an hourly, once price comes back into this supply zone, I'm gonna be waiting for M15 change of character, right? That's all I need to look for sales. I think we can even see right here, once price broke structure, it came back. There was a lot of M15 opportunities right here to sell from this point all the way down, right? So that's what I'm gonna be looking for on this particular scenario. I'm gonna be waiting for price to tap this supply zone, that's the 4-hour, and then I'm gonna drop down to medium time frame, which is M15 or M30. Okay, so let's go to the last pair. So our last pair of today is going to be the USD Swiss franc. That's one of the major pairs in Forex, very important pair as well. And we can see, USD Swiss franc has been pushing up, and I strongly believe this is a result of election. So just looking from the weekly time frame, we can see that we had a break, a mitigation, second break of structure, a mitigation, and price. Price is still trading within this range. So this is the range high, and this is the range low. So we have all this internal price action that is going on right here. Now, what's happening is this is a weekly, right? What we can do now is drop down to the daily time frame. We want to understand what's going on within that internal price action. So looking at the internal price action, we can see we had this nice break, mitigation in this zone, and then a second break of structure, and price just came into this daily supply zone. So the idea is, okay, price just tapped the daily. What do we do next? We'll drop down to 4-hour time frame, right? So on the 4-hour, the question always is, what's the structure up to this point? Is the structure bullish or bearish? I think anyone can see that the structure is still bullish, right? We had a break of structure of this previous high right here. So price had broken this structure, and then we can say that, okay, we have this whole zone right here. That's the whole demand zone. Now, since price tapped a supply zone, of course, we might see some reaction. This can be in the form of a pullback, right? So price is gonna pull back eventually to this demand zone. As a scalper, since this is a 4-hour, break of structure to the upside, I'm gonna be waiting for an M15. What I want to see is M15 change of character right here. So once I see an M15 change of character to the downside, that will tell me that the 4-hour is started the pullback. So then I can look for sales once price comes to the M15 supply zone, and then I can sell all the way down into this demand zone. That's just the scalping opportunity for anyone that doesn't want to wait for price to come back to the demand zone. But if you really want to see on the long term, I would recommend you to wait for price to break this 4-hour previous low to give it that 4-hour change of character, and then you can start to look for sales, right? So it really depends on the type of trader that you are. Are you a scalper? Are you a position trader or swing trader? So if you're a swing or position trader, you might as well just be very patient and wait for price to give you that 4-hour change of character. But as a scalper, I would recommend you to come to M15 or M30. Wait for example, it can be a M30 change of character. For example, let's say something like this. You have an M30 change of character, and then you have a supply zone right here. So once price gives you the M30, that's going to be a good sign that, okay, price is now, 4 hours is now ready to have a pullback. And then once price reaches back to this M15, you can wait on the lower time frames such as M5, M3, wait for change of character, and then take a sell. So you can basically ride the 4-hour pullback towards the demand zone right here. So you don't have to wait as much, okay? So guys, I hope I was very clear with the intentions, with some of the opportunities that we see ahead of us for the next week. I hope I really made the point clear with this outlook, guys. And I just would love to invite a lot of you guys that I know a lot of people, DM me every single day. People that, want to be clear about what I teach, right? So feel free, my content is on the description box below. There is the mentorship. I have the SMC mastery course, which is, smart money concept mastery course. So you have a very good strategy. I mean, minimum risk to reward ratio is usually 1 to 5 that we have, and it goes to like 1 to 60, 100. It depends on your psychology if you really want to hold for that long. So if you guys are interested in the mentorship, there is the monthly subscription. I think it's like the 3 months, very affordable. The yearly and the lifetime, there is a 30% discount in there, so feel free to reach out. If you guys are also interested in the prop firm passing, I'm actually passing prop firms. So far I've been passing Funded Next and QT, which is Quanteco. That's another prop firm that I'm passing. So, I mean, you guys can see here on the screen, I actually passed one of mine, phase 1. My phase 2 is almost done. So I'm gonna update you guys on the YouTube community tab. And that's it, guys. So we have a lot of good stuff for the mentorship. My content is on the description box below. Come take advantage of the discount that is still going on. And I'm gonna see you guys in the next one. Peace.